Miscellaneous. The first is that the Capitol Roots staff is unionizing. For those that don't know, Capitol Roots is a nonprofit organization that operates community gardens across the Capital District, Albany, Schenectady, Rensselaer County. Have the Common Council support in a letter urging the CEO, Amy Klein, to accept the recognition of their union that occurred. I just want to say that I was there on that evening, and I can experience, which was that when I was there that night, everyone was on the sidewalks, and when I arrived on the scene, there was probably double-digit police officers there, with almost all of them carrying cans of pepper spray. When I arrived, I immediately texted City and said, please, please, please do not gas this group of Black people on Juneteenth. Please. Please, like, really please, and I'm for many reasons really begging you. A conversation that we had, I said, for what it's worth, I'm not a police officer, but why would you continue to stay there when you know that any form of aggression would result in violence? And it ended up later that evening that they did leave, they opened up the road. But I hate that that incident even had to occur. It's disgusting, it's saddening, it's disappointing. Today brought up, and I hate to say this, but if there was a group of white children on July 4th doing fireworks, we just wouldn't see that. And I hate it. Like, I really hate to say that, but I know, and we all know it's true. And for council members here tonight that feel uncomfortable, I urge us to really think about why these comments make us feel uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable because I know what they're talking about. I understand it. I was there. I'm also equally as outraged, but I urge people to think about what can we do as council members when we have a community coming together. And I'm going to end on that note. It'll be introduced at the end of the month, and I hope to have everyone's support on that. I would love to speak with everyone as well about what we can do with regard to the standard operating procedures and general orders, because that is something that we can come forward as a council to say that we don't support that.
I am the council member for the 6th Ward in the Albany County.
Okay, and so you said you were there that day with the celebration?
Yeah, I came later in the event. I did take photos. I spoke with police officers on scene, and later I did have a conversation with city officials about just my concerns with the potential to escalate violence. Yeah, I can just speak from what I observed personally, which was when I was there, people were congregating on the sidewalk. I did see the police officers having pepper spray in their hands. I was really concerned, really concerned. It was pepper spray, not tear gas, but given the effect of tear gas on our community so recently, I was really concerned just with just aerated weapon. I was very terrified that they would actually consider using that. Terrified, as everyone else there was as well. Like, that was a really wonderful event to celebrate Juneteenth. Of all days for the police to come in so aggressively and to potentially escalate into a more violent situation. Your question was, how did I feel? I was scared. I was scared to see it. I think there's a few different things we can do. One that was mentioned by Councilmember Anane was addressing the special events committee, the special events permitting process. How is exactly that done? Is there an appeal process? Is there a way to make sure that that's not disproportionately ostracizing people of color in our Black communities for events that they're having? I think another thing that we can do is come together to address the standard operating procedures and general orders within the Albany Police Department. We did just recently have a presentation by the Albany Police Department about some new techniques that they would be considering, sanctity of life provision, a use of force policy. I mentioned some things in the council meeting that I didn't think were appropriate that they suggested, and maybe the council can come together to suggest a more empathetic and appropriate standard operating procedure with regard to use of